a world that worships wealth, fame, and power. One man dared to ask, what if these things do not matter at all? Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds in human history, was more than a physicist. He was a quiet philosopher, a rebel against the pressures of social expectation, a voice that rose not only in scientific discovery, but also in the pursuit of wisdom. You see, we live in a time where people are often measured by what they achieve on paper. Job titles, net worth, awards, followers. But Einstein, a man who revolutionized physics, once said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." He saw something dangerous in society's obsession with status. To him, success was often hollow, a shiny distraction from what truly mattered. When people praised him, gave him medals and honors, he often shrugged. He once said, "The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education." It was not sarcasm. It was clarity. For Einstein, being a person of value meant asking, how do you serve others? What do you stand for when nobody is watching? How do your actions ripple outward beyond your own gain? His idea of greatness had nothing to do with being admired. It had everything to do with being useful. He gave away his Nobel Prize money, not because he was wealthy, but because he knew it could help others more than it could help him. He wrote hundreds of letters, often to strangers, simply encouraging them to keep going, to stay curious, to never give up on learning. He believed that life was not about dominating others, but about understanding them. Not about rising above, but about reaching across. When he said, "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile," he wasn't preaching. He was describing how he lived. Einstein's apartment was modest. He walked when he could. He dressed simply, and yet he carried in his mind some of the most complex and beautiful ideas humanity has ever conceived. That contrast between internal richness and external humility was his quiet power. In today's world, we're told to hustle, to build a brand, to chase recognition. But what if that's not the highest aim? What if the real legacy we leave is not in our resumes or our trophies, but in how we treat others and how we contribute to the good of the whole? Albert Einstein didn't see himself as a genius. In fact, he often said he had no special talent, only passionate curiosity. He found value not in being better than others, but in asking better questions, in living with honesty, in showing compassion, in thinking for himself. Perhaps that is why, even decades after his death, people still turn to him, not only to understand the universe, but to understand how to live within it. So today, you have a choice. You can chase success, the applause, the title, the comfort, or you can build a life of value, a life that gives more than it takes, a life that questions, listens, shares, and learns. Because the world doesn't need more people who are rich or famous. It needs people who are kind, people who are curious, people who are willing to live quietly, bravely, and with purpose. This is the kind of life Albert Einstein lived. This is the kind of life we are all capable of living. This has been a musing of Einstein.